Hello, everyone. There is something holy in the way words move between us, like light through a cracked door. They come gentle and slow or fierce like thunder. And if you listen just right, you can feel the weight of the sky in a single sentence. You see, conversation is not just talk. It is rhythm. It is soul reaching soul. It is the art of being seen and letting others be seen too. Too many of us are just waiting to reply, not truly listening. We let words float past, missing the color of their meaning, missing the silence between the syllables, where truth often lives. But when we choose presence, when we stand in the moment like a tree in the wind, rooted yet open. Listening is not simply the act of being quiet while someone else speaks. It is not the pause you take before launching into your own response. True listening is presence. It is leaning in with your heart, not just your ears. It is a stillness of the soul that says, I see you, I hear you, and I am here for what you have to say. That kind of listening, the kind that feels like a warm light in a dark room, holds the power to transform any conversation. When we listen with intention, with no desire to interrupt or redirect the spotlight, we allow another person to feel safe. And safety is the foundation of trust. It tells the other person, you matter enough for me to give you this moment fully. In a world so hungry for validation, that kind of attention is rare and priceless. It changes the way people speak. It encourages honesty. It welcomes vulnerability. It invites the truth to sit at the table. There is science behind this too. When someone senses they are truly being heard, their brain releases oxytocin, the bonding chemical. Their nervous system calms. Their defenses soften. And in return, they are more likely to listen to you as well. It becomes a mutual space of openness instead of a battlefield of opinions. Words flow with ease. Meaning deepens. But this kind of listening takes courage. It means we must set aside the need to prove something, the urge to be right, the fear of being unseen. We must resist the pull of distraction and ego and sit fully in the now. And when we do, we invite a kind of magic into our conversations, not because we say the perfect thing, but because we offer the perfect presence. If you want dramatically better conversations, begin with the quiet power of listening. Listen not as a tactic, but as a gift. Listen not just to reply, but to truly receive. Because when you listen with your whole being, you give people permission to be real. And in that space of realness, everything begins to change to overall key points and add only necessary ending lines. Empathy is the invisible thread that binds hearts before words even take shape. It is the quiet understanding that reaches across differences and says, I may not have lived your life, but I am willing to feel what you feel. In any conversation, when empathy leads, connection follows. You can have all the knowledge, all the perfect phrasing, and still fall short if there is no emotional bridge between you and the person you are speaking with. Empathy builds that bridge. Science tells us that when we witness someone in emotional pain or joy, the same parts of our brain light up as if we are experiencing it ourselves. That is the power of mirror neurons. They let us experience one another's reality without saying a word. It means we are wired to understand each other, to care, to feel together. But in our rush to fix, to correct, to explain, we often forget that the heart needs to be held, not handled. In dramatically better conversations, Empathy is not a soft detail, it is the foundation. It turns conflict into cooperation. It turns walls into windows. When you speak with empathy, you give space for another person's truth to exist without judgment. You allow them to breathe and unfold in front of you. And that space, that freedom, invites honesty, it invites healing, it invites change. Empathy is not agreeing, it is not giving in, it is not weakness, it is strength in its most graceful form. It allows you to speak the truth while still holding compassion. It helps you say difficult things in a way that can be received instead of rejected. It turns language into connection, and people remember how you made them feel long after they forget what you said. Better conversations are not built on winning, they are built on understanding. So let your words carry kindness, even when they are firm. Let your tone soften, even when the message is clear. Let your presence assure the other person that they are not alone, because when empathy is present, even silence feels like support. And that kind of presence makes everything else more powerful. Being present in a conversation is more than just showing up with your body. It is arriving with your full attention, your open heart, and your quiet mind. It is resisting the pull of distractions, the ping of your phone, the noise of your thoughts, and choosing instead to be completely with the person before you. Presence is not loud, but it speaks volumes. It tells the other person, you are worthy of my time, my energy, my now. Too often we think better conversations come from saying the right thing, but sometimes the most powerful part of a conversation is not what is said, but how we show up for it. When you are present, the person across from you feels it. They feel seen. They feel valued. And when people feel seen, they open up. They begin to speak from a deeper place, no longer performing or protecting, but simply sharing what is real. Presence quiets the noise and makes room for truth. It lets you notice the things that words cannot carry, the shift in someone's eyes, the pause before they speak, the sigh that holds more than any sentence could explain. All of that is communication. All of that matters. And if you are truly present, you catch it. You respond to it. You make the invisible known. Science shows us that attention creates stronger emotional bonds. Eye contact, body language, micro expressions. All of these are part of how we speak without words. When your presence is steady, calm, and sincere, it calms the nervous system of the person you're speaking with. It makes the conversation feel safe. It makes it feel sacred. Presence is not something you perform, it is something you offer. It does not demand praise, but it changes everything it touches. It is a kind of silent love, a quiet gift that says, this moment matters and so do you. So in every exchange, whether simple or deep, let your full presence lead. Let your attention be your first act of compassion. Let your stillness be your loudest message, because when you are truly present, your very being speaks, and sometimes that's all it takes. A sincere question is a doorway. It is not a trap, not a test, not a trick dressed up as curiosity. A sincere question is born from the heart, not the ego. It asks not to control, but to understand. And in the landscape of better conversations, it is one of the most powerful tools we have, because when you ask with real interest, you invite another person to step into their truth without fear. We live in a world full of statements, opinions shouted across rooms, judgments hurled like stones. But a sincere question softens that noise. It says, I want to know you, not just your opinion. I want to understand what shaped your view, not just debate it. It disarms. It disarms because it does not come from a place of needing to win. It comes from a place of wanting to connect. When we ask with sincerity, our tone changes, our eyes soften. The energy between two people becomes less like a match and more like a mirror. And science agrees. When someone feels genuinely invited to share, their brain becomes more open to trust, their guard drops, and suddenly you are not two people defending your corners. You are two people meeting in the middle. It's not about the complexity of the question, but the intention behind it. A simple, "What was that like for you?" or "Help me understand what you mean," can carry more weight than 100 clever remarks. And when people feel that your question is safe, honest, and free of hidden motives, they give you their truth, not the polished version, not the guarded one, the truth that lives deep in the belly, the one that doesn't always get invited to speak. Conversations change when they are built on that kind of invitation. They become deeper, kinder, wiser. And what begins as a single question can unfold into a moment of connection neither of you forgets. So ask not to judge. Ask not to reply faster. Ask to learn. Ask to understand. Ask to make room, because a sincere question can be the beginning of everything. So much of what we say never reaches its full meaning, not because the words are wrong, but because the tone and body language do not match the message. We think communication is all about the words, but science and experience both say otherwise. The way we say something often matters far more than what we say. A kind sentence spoken in a cold voice feels like rejection. A simple phrase, when delivered with warmth and eye contact, can feel like love. Our bodies speak before our mouths do. The tilt of a head, the softness in our eyes, the openness of our hands, all of these tell a story. And when that story aligns with our words, it creates harmony. It creates trust. But when the words and the body are not aligned, people sense it. They may not always know why they feel uneasy, but they know something is missing. Something is off. And that something can close a heart before a conversation even begins. Tone carries emotion. It carries intention. You can say, "I understand" 100 different ways, and each one carries a different truth. A gentle tone can turn correction into compassion. A calm tone can turn disagreement into dialogue. You don't have to raise your voice to be heard. You just have to mean what you say and let every part of your being reflect that meaning. When you are aware of how you are speaking, your presence deepens. You become more intentional. You become more connected. Conversations become less about performance and more about relationship. People don't just hear you, they feel you. And that feeling lingers. That's what makes the difference, not the perfection of your grammar or the cleverness of your thoughts, but the energy you carry when you share them. Better conversations are born when tone and body are honest, when your voice wraps your words like a hand cradling a flame, firm enough to hold, soft enough not to hurt. So speak with your whole self. Let your posture invite trust. Let your tone carry care, because when your message feels safe, it finds its way into the heart, not just the ears. Silence is often mistaken for emptiness, but in truth, it holds more weight than words ever could. In a world that rushes to fill every pause, silence is sacred. It is the space where thoughts settle and meaning rises. It is where reflection lives and emotions breathe. When we allow silence in a conversation, we are not stepping back, we are making room. Room for clarity, for truth, for understanding to unfold without pressure. Too often we are afraid of silence. We rush to fill it with chatter, with explanations, with nervous laughter. But silence is not a failure in conversation. It is a choice, a gift. It tells the other person, "Take your time, I'm here." It lets them know they don't have to hurry their feelings into neat little sentences. It allows authenticity to emerge slowly, like light at dawn, gentle and real. Science supports this too. Pauses give the brain time to process, to shift from reactive thinking to thoughtful response. It reduces tension. It opens the door to deeper self-awareness. And when someone feels they don't have to fight for space, they are more likely to speak from the heart. They are more likely to say what they truly mean, not just what sounds right in the moment. Silence also speaks when words cannot. There are moments when a person's pain is too deep for solutions. In those moments, presence and silence say more than advice ever could. A hand on the shoulder, a steady breath, eye contact held with quiet care. That is conversation too. It is the kind that does not require sound to be powerful. In dramatically better conversations, silence is a partner. It walks alongside the words, giving them shape and echo. It invites depth, it invites emotion, and it gives the listener a chance to be more than a reactor. It gives them the chance to become a witness. So do not fear the quiet. Let it rise. Let it hold space. Let it carry the weight that words sometimes cannot. Because in the stillness between sentences, people often find the truth they didn't know they were searching for. Genuine curiosity is the golden thread that weaves connection into every conversation. It is not nosy, not forceful, not coded in judgment. It is gentle. It is open. It asks because it truly wants to know, not to correct, not to impress, not to be right, but to understand. And when someone senses that kind of curiosity, they soften. Their words come more freely. Their guard begins to lower, and something real begins to emerge. Too often we speak from assumptions. We carry our own stories into the space and expect others to fit within them. But genuine curiosity pauses that. It puts the ego to the side and says, tell me your story. Help me see what I cannot see. That is not weakness. That is wisdom. Because it takes strength to admit there is more to learn. It takes humility to know that every person carries something you do not yet understand. Science shows us that curiosity lights up reward centers in the brain. It draws attention, sparks engagement, makes the mind more flexible and less defensive. When you bring curiosity into a conversation, it signals to the other person that you are not here to battle, you are here to learn. You're not building a case, you are building a bridge. And in that space, honesty grows, connection deepens, respect becomes mutual, but it must be sincere. Curiosity without sincerity feels like manipulation. People can sense when your interest is a mask, but when it's real, when it's warm and unforced, it becomes one of the most powerful tools in human connection. It allows you to ask questions that are not rehearsed, but responsive. Questions that grow from what you hear, not what you already believe. That kind of exchange is alive. It breathes. It transforms. Genuine curiosity turns an ordinary conversation into a discovery. It brings wonder back to our interactions. It reminds us that people are not puzzles to be solved, but stories to be heard. So come to the table with a listening heart, with eyes that say, I care, with a spirit that is not trying to prove, but to explore. Because when curiosity leads, connection follows. Listen closely, for there is a whisper the world has tried to bury under its noise. It tells you that slowing down, that choosing gentleness, that giving yourself grace is not weakness. You have been taught that proving your worth is measured in struggle and sacrifice, that your value is found in the exhaustion you wear like a badge. But I am here to tell you something else. You can choose peace without guilt. You can honor your soul without answering to the demands of everyone else. You can live softly and still stand tall. There is power in stillness. There is courage in quiet. Every day we chase more, achieve more, impress more, and in that chase we forget the tenderness of simply being. To choose a soft life is not to shirk responsibility. It is not to deny the world. It is to understand that your spirit is precious and that preserving it allows you to shine brighter. When you lay down the weight of proving yourself, you open your hands to joy. You allow room for love, for clarity, for creativity, for peace. You create a life that nurtures the roots of who you are, not just the surface that others see. Do not be afraid to let the world see you breathe. Do not apologize for seeking comfort. The soft life is a revolution, though it is quiet. It says no to exhaustion that comes from trying to prove you belong. It says yes to the freedom of aligning with your truth. Every moment you choose calm over chaos, you teach others that it is possible. Every time you honor your own heart, you make it easier for another to honor theirs. The soft life is not selfish, it is sacred. There is a voice inside you that often goes unheard, drowned out by the insistence of the world that you must constantly prove your worth. From the moment we take our first breath, society whispers in our ears that our value is measured by achievement, by recognition, by the applause of others. And so we run. We run to prove ourselves in careers, in relationships, in social circles, as if our very existence depends on the validation of others. But there comes a moment, a quiet, almost imperceptible moment, when you begin to realize that the act of proving yourself endlessly is not strength. It is exhaustion. It is the weight of expectations that were never truly yours to bear, a burden that dims the radiance of your own spirit. Choosing peace over proving yourself is an act of courage, and it begins the moment you stop seeking permission to exist. Courage is not always loud. It does not always roar. Often, it is the gentle choice to honor your own needs, to listen to the whispers of your heart, to step off the treadmill of relentless validation. The world will tell you that to slow down is to surrender, that to rest is to fail, that to prioritize peace is to be selfish. But there is nothing selfish in recognizing your own humanity. There is nothing selfish in saying, I will not allow my value to be dictated by someone else's standards. There is bravery in choosing calm over chaos, in valuing your inner world more than the relentless demands of the outer world. True courage is often quiet. It is found in the spaces where you refuse to prove yourself just to meet someone else's measure of worth. When you stop proving yourself, you begin to reclaim parts of your soul that were lost in the struggle. You begin to see that your value was never dependent on applause or recognition. You begin to trust that simply being is enough. The act of proving yourself endlessly keeps you tethered to a cycle of comparison, competition, and judgment. It keeps you focused on what others think rather than what you know deep in your heart. Choosing peace breaks that cycle. It frees you from the constant need to perform, to impress, to justify your existence. And in that freedom, you discover a strength far greater than any external validation could ever provide. There is a radical beauty in choosing peace. It is a choice to treat yourself with kindness, to honor your limits, to recognize that you are not here to be everything for everyone. The courage to step away from proving yourself allows you to step fully into yourself. It allows you to live in alignment with your values, to nurture your creativity, your joy, your relationships without the weight of expectation. You begin to see that the world does not need you to prove yourself. It needs you to be authentic, to show up as your true self. And authenticity is far more powerful than any performance you could ever give. In the soft life, courage and peace are intertwined. To choose peace over proving yourself is to challenge the conventional idea of strength. Strength is not measured by the exhaustion of your body or the approval of others. It is measured by the steadiness of your heart, the clarity of your mind, the freedom of your spirit. Each time you resist the urge to justify your worth, you strengthen yourself in ways that cannot be seen, but that are deeply felt. Every act of self-preservation, every moment of silence instead of argument, every choice to nurture rather than prove is a declaration of bravery. It is a way of saying, I am enough, I am worthy, I will not expend my energy seeking permission to exist. The path of peace over proving yourself is not always easy. It requires faith, patience, and trust in your own journey. The world will continue to demand, to judge, to measure, but you have the power to choose differently. You have the power to rise above the noise and honor the rhythm of your own heart. You have the courage to recognize that your life is not a competition, that your worth is not a performance, and that peace is not surrender. Choosing peace is choosing life itself, and in that choice, you embody a strength that cannot be shaken. So stand in your quiet courage and let the world measure your worth as it may. You do not need to prove yourself to anyone. Your existence is your own, your value inherent, your peace priceless. Choosing peace over proving yourself is the first step toward the soft life, and it is the most courageous step you will ever take. There is a certain grace in nurturing your own life, a quiet strength that comes from caring for your mind, your body, and your soul. In a world that often applauds constant struggle and relentless achievement, it is easy to forget that true growth does not come from exhaustion, from pushing beyond your limits, or from proving yourself to others. Growth comes from balance. Growth comes from honoring the deepest parts of yourself, from listening to the whispers of your heart, and from allowing space for rest and reflection. Choosing a soft life is not an act of surrender. It is an act of wisdom. It is the understanding that when you nourish yourself fully, you become capable of giving more, of loving more, and of living more fully. Your mind carries the weight of your thoughts, the echoes of past experiences, and the constant pressure of expectations. When you choose to nurture it, you create a sanctuary within yourself. You allow moments of silence to exist without fear, moments of reflection without judgment, moments of stillness without guilt. Meditation, reading, quiet walks, and simple contemplation are not luxuries, they are essentials. They are the soil from which clarity grows, the sunlight that illuminates your path, and the water that allows your inner strength to flourish. When your mind is nurtured, your perspective changes. You begin to see that the need to prove yourself is less urgent than the need to honor your own thoughts, your own creativity, your own dreams. The body, too, requires care. It is the vessel through which you experience the world, the instrument of your journey. Yet too often it is neglected, pushed beyond endurance in pursuit of recognition or validation. Choosing a soft life means listening to your body's rhythms, respecting its limits, and honoring its needs. Rest is not weakness. Nourishment is not indulgence. Movement, sleep, and self-care are declarations that your existence matters, that your life is worthy of preservation, that your body is sacred. When the body is nurtured, energy flows more freely, resilience strengthens, and the capacity to face challenges with grace expands. The soul, however, is the deepest layer of this nurturing. It thrives on authenticity, on alignment with your values, on acts of love and kindness toward yourself and others. When you stop proving yourself and start nurturing your soul, you open doors to intuition, to joy, to peace that cannot be taken away. Creative pursuits, quiet reflection, meaningful connections, and spiritual practices are ways to feed your soul. Each act of nurturing it is an act of liberation. It is a reminder that you are not here merely to perform for the world, but to live fully in your truth, to honor the beauty and the uniqueness of your own being. When mind, body, and soul are nurtured together, a remarkable transformation occurs. You become less reactive to the pressures of the outside world and more attuned to the wisdom within. You begin to recognize that constantly proving yourself is a form of depletion, while nurturing yourself is a form of empowerment. Strength does not come from the approval of others. It comes from the steadiness of your own heart and the alignment of your own being. The soft life is a choice to step off the hamster wheel of relentless proving and step into the rhythm of care and balance. There is also a ripple effect in nurturing yourself. When you care for your own well-being, your energy naturally radiates outward. You inspire others not through competition or demonstration, but through presence and example. You show that it is possible to live fully without sacrificing your peace. You demonstrate that strength can be quiet and resilience can be gentle. And in that demonstration, you invite others to honor themselves, to create their own space of balance, and to recognize that the soft life is not indulgence, but a path to true growth. This nurturing is not a destination, it is a practice, a continuous commitment to honor the whole of who you are. It requires patience and consistency. It asks that you resist the voices that demand you prove yourself endlessly, and instead trust that the life you cultivate in care and attention is enough. It asks that you choose your well-being as a priority, not an afterthought. The soft life is an invitation to live fully, deeply, and wisely. It is the recognition that your growth, your strength, and your impact flourish most profoundly when you nurture every part of yourself. So embrace the nurturing of your mind, body, and soul. Let care replace proving, let growth replace struggle, and let peace replace exhaustion. In doing so, you create a life that is not only sustainable but radiant, a life that honors the entirety of who you are and allows you to flourish in every way that truly matters. There is a quiet power in boundaries, a strength that is often misunderstood in a world that glorifies constant giving and relentless proving. From an early age, we are taught to accommodate, to bend, to stretch ourselves thin in service of others. We are praised for selflessness and criticized for saying no, as if our energy is an endless resource meant solely for the approval and comfort of those around us. But the truth is that boundaries are not walls meant to shut others out. They are bridges that connect us to our own well-being. They are a form of self-respect, a declaration that your time, your energy, and your peace matter. Choosing to honor them is not selfish. It is the courage to honor your own life, your own needs, and your own truth. Every boundary you set is an act of clarity. It tells the world who you are, what you value, and how you wish to be treated. Boundaries are not rigid or cold. They are gentle yet firm, like the roots of a tree that hold it steady through storms. Without them, you risk being pulled into conflicts that do not serve you, exhausted by demands that diminish you, and lost in the expectations of others. With them, you create space for your own growth, for your own rest, and for your own joy. The act of saying no when you need to is not a denial of love or loyalty. It is an affirmation of self-respect and an acknowledgement that your life is precious. Boundaries are especially essential in a culture that equates worth with constant proving. The more you prove yourself, the more the world asks. The more you give without pause, the more your soul grows weary. By setting boundaries, you reclaim the energy that was once scattered. You regain control of your focus, and you honor the rhythm of your own life. Saying no to what drains you is saying yes to what nourishes you. Saying no to constant validation is saying yes to your inner peace. Every boundary is an act of courage because it requires you to stand firm in your truth, even when the world resists, even when the voices of doubt and guilt rise to challenge you. Boundaries are also a gift to others, for they clarify expectations and encourage healthier, more authentic relationships. When you stop overextending yourself to prove your worth, you invite others to meet you in honesty and respect. You teach through example that strength is not measured by how much you give, but by how well you honor yourself. Relationships become richer, not because you sacrifice, but because you show up fully present and grounded in your own integrity. The soft life thrives when boundaries are honored because it allows for genuine connection rather than forced obligation. It is important to remember that boundaries are not fixed. They evolve as you grow. What you needed yesterday may no longer serve you today. Setting a boundary is not a one-time act, but a continuous practice of self-awareness and self-respect. It requires listening deeply to your own needs, understanding where your limits lie, and having the courage to communicate them clearly. The world may push, test, or misunderstand your limits, but the act of maintaining them is a daily affirmation that your peace matters more than proving yourself endlessly. Boundaries also teach resilience. They help you navigate challenges without losing yourself. They remind you that saying no is not rejection, but protection, that prioritizing yourself is not arrogance, but wisdom. The more you honor your boundaries, the more you cultivate an inner strength that does not depend on external validation. You begin to realize that your worth is inherent, that your life is not a performance, and that protecting your time and energy is a sacred responsibility. To live with boundaries is to embrace a soft life fully. It is to walk gently in the world while standing firm in your own truth. It is to choose peace over proving yourself, to let go of the exhausting need to meet every demand, and to create space for what truly matters. In honoring your own limits, you teach yourself and others that life is not about endless sacrifice, but about balance, integrity, and authenticity. You show that the courage to protect your soul is the truest form of strength, and that boundaries are the foundation upon which a life of peace and fulfillment is built. So set your boundaries not with guilt, but with love, not with fear, but with courage. Let them be the quiet declaration that your life, your energy, and your peace are worth protecting. In doing so, you embody a strength that does not need to prove itself and a soft life that is deeply, unapologetically yours. There is a subtle freedom that comes when you let go of comparison, a liberation that feels like breathing after holding your breath for far too long. From the moment we enter this world, we are taught to measure ourselves against others, to define our worth by how closely we match their successes, their beauty, their achievements. Social media conversations and even family expectations constantly whisper that if we are not as accomplished, as admired, as celebrated as someone else, then we are lacking. And in chasing this illusion, we lose sight of the one truth that matters. Your journey is yours alone, and it has value simply because it is yours. Letting go of comparison frees you to live authentically, to embrace your own rhythm, and to choose peace over proving yourself. Comparison is a subtle thief. It steals your joy, your confidence, and your energy, replacing them with doubt, insecurity, and exhaustion. You may find yourself constantly measuring your accomplishments, appearance, or relationships against some ideal set by others. And in that act, you forget that life is not a contest to win, but a journey to experience. Every step you take, every choice you make, every moment you breathe is unique to you. When you let go of the need to measure up, you create space for gratitude, for contentment, and for growth that is grounded in self-awareness rather than external validation. The soft life is born in this space, where your worth is not tied to comparison, but to the simple act of being. Letting go of comparison does not mean that you stop striving to grow or improve. On the contrary, it allows you to pursue growth from a place of love and curiosity rather than fear and pressure. When your motivation is not anchored in the need to outshine someone else, your efforts are infused with authenticity. You begin to recognize that your successes do not diminish the achievements of others, and their victories do not reduce your value. You understand that each person's path is unique, shaped by circumstances, choices, and timing that cannot be duplicated. To embrace your own journey fully is to honor your individuality and to acknowledge that proving yourself against others is never necessary. The freedom from comparison also opens the door to self-compassion. When you stop holding yourself to the standards of others, you can acknowledge your own struggles without judgment, celebrate your own victories without hesitation, and forgive yourself for the moments you stumble. You no longer chase an endless parade of approvals, likes, or praise. Instead, you cultivate a quiet confidence that comes from knowing that your life is enough, that your choices are valid, and that your existence is not contingent upon someone else's recognition. Every act of self-compassion strengthens your ability to live peacefully and softly, allowing you to prioritize your own well-being over the impossible task of constant validation. In letting go of comparison, you also begin to see the beauty in others without feeling diminished. The success, joy, and growth of others become inspiration rather than threat. You can cheer for their victories while still honoring your own journey. You recognize that life is not a zero-sum game, that someone else's light does not darken yours, and that your worth has never depended on outshining anyone. In this awareness, your interactions become kinder, your relationships more genuine, and your heart lighter. You begin to understand that peace is found not in competition, but in acceptance of yourself and others as they are. This release from comparison is a choice, a practice, and a daily act of courage. It requires vigilance, for the world will constantly present opportunities to measure, to judge, and to doubt. But each time you resist the pull to compare, you reclaim your power. You step off the treadmill of proving yourself to the endless gaze of others, and you step into a life guided by your own values, your own rhythm, and your own joy. You cultivate a soft life where your energy is devoted to growth, love, and peace rather than the exhausting pursuit of approval. Letting go of comparison is not a single act, it is a journey. It is the continual choice to honor your path, to embrace your own victories, and to recognize that your worth is inherent. It is the courage to prioritize your peace over proving yourself, to find contentment in your own story, and to trust that your life, with all its unique twists and turns, is enough. In releasing the need to compare, you step fully into a life of authenticity, serenity, and profound freedom. And in that freedom, you find the life you were always meant to live. There is a profound strength in prioritizing rest and calm, a power often overlooked in a world that glorifies business and constant achievement. We are conditioned to believe that our worth is tied to our productivity, that every waking moment must be spent proving ourselves, accomplishing more, and striving for recognition. The louder the world celebrates relentless effort, the quieter the voice within us that asks simply to breathe. But rest is not a luxury. Calm is not a surrender. They are essential foundations for a life that is sustainable, meaningful, and joyful. When you choose to honor your need for rest and seek moments of calm, you are making a conscious decision to protect your energy, your clarity, and your peace. You are choosing life over the relentless pressure to prove yourself. The body carries the echoes of stress, the wear of overexertion, and the tension of endless striving. Without rest, it falters. Without calm, the mind becomes cluttered with doubt, fear, and comparison. Choosing rest and calm is a radical act of self-respect. It says to yourself and to the world that your energy is precious, that your presence matters, and that you are worthy of care. It is the courage to step away from the constant noise of proving, the humility to acknowledge your limits, and the wisdom to understand that strength is not measured by exhaustion, but by the ability to sustain yourself over time. When you rest, you recharge. When you seek calm, you regain clarity. And from that place of renewed energy, your actions are more intentional, your decisions more aligned with your truth, and your presence more powerful. Prioritizing rest is also an act of resistance. It is a gentle refusal to be defined by the world's expectations, a declaration that your value does not depend on constant output. In allowing yourself to pause, you reclaim control over your life and your choices. You no longer respond to every demand, every call to prove yourself, every comparison that threatens to steal your peace. Instead, you respond from a place of wholeness, from a place of inner strength that has been nurtured by stillness and calm. In this way, rest becomes revolutionary, a quiet yet potent force that transforms not only your energy but the quality of your life. Calm, too, is transformative. It allows you to observe your thoughts without judgment, to respond rather than react, and to find clarity amidst chaos. The soft life thrives in calm because it creates space for reflection, creativity, and authentic connection. When you prioritize calm, you give yourself the opportunity to listen to your own needs, to honor your values, and to make choices that are in alignment with who you truly are rather than what the world demands. Peaceful moments are not empty. They are fertile grounds for insight, growth, and resilience. Choosing calm over proving yourself strengthens the mind, soothes the heart, and nurtures the spirit. There is also a ripple effect in choosing rest and calm. When you honor your own need for pause, you model a life that others can admire and learn from. You show that strength does not come from overexertion, that presence is more powerful than performance, and that peace can be chosen even in a world that constantly asks you to prove yourself. Those around you feel the impact of your centered energy. Relationships become deeper, decisions become wiser, and the overall quality of life improves. Choosing rest and calm is not retreating from responsibility. It is stepping fully into your capacity to live a life of meaning and influence without losing yourself in the process. The practice of prioritizing rest and calm requires patience and intention. It is a daily commitment to honor your own rhythm and to resist the pull of external pressures. It may feel uncomfortable at first, for the world often equates action with worth and stillness with laziness. But the more you practice, the more you recognize that true productivity, creativity, and joy are born not from exhaustion, but from balance. The more you choose peace over proving yourself, the more you cultivate a life that is rich in purpose, presence, and fulfillment. In prioritizing rest and calm, you are not only caring for yourself, you are cultivating the strength to face life with resilience and grace. You are nurturing the inner resources that allow you to respond to challenges with wisdom, to connect with others with authenticity, and to live a life that is meaningful on your own terms. You are proving to yourself that strength lies not in endless proving, but in honoring your own humanity. So embrace rest without guilt, seek calm without hesitation, and let your life be guided by the understanding that peace is the foundation of true strength. In choosing rest and calm, you are choosing the soft life, and in doing so, you discover the power and beauty of living fully without the need to prove yourself. There is a quiet magic in the way inner peace radiates outward, a subtle power that transforms not only your life, but the lives of those around you. When you choose calm over chaos, when you honor your own boundaries, and when you release the need to prove yourself, your energy shifts. It no longer hinges on approval, recognition, or comparison. Instead, it becomes steady, inviting, and grounded. People notice this energy, even if it is not spoken aloud. They feel it in the way you carry yourself, in the ease of your presence, and in the warmth of your interactions. Choosing the soft life is not a withdrawal from the world. It is a way of becoming a quiet force of influence, a source of calm that others unconsciously seek and respond to. Inner peace is a reflection of self-respect and self-awareness. When you cultivate it, you understand that your value is not dependent on the applause or judgment of others. You no longer need to prove yourself to feel worthy. This freedom allows you to move through the world with a steady heart, to respond to challenges with clarity rather than reaction, and to engage with others without the need to manipulate, impress, or compete. The energy of peace draws people naturally, for it is authentic and reassuring. In choosing peace, you are offering the world a model of strength that is gentle, resilient, and sustainable. When your inner world is calm, your actions become intentional. You are no longer driven by fear, anxiety, or the compulsion to constantly validate your worth. Decisions are made with clarity, relationships are nurtured with authenticity, and your presence becomes a source of comfort rather than tension. This radiance is not about performance or appearance. It is a reflection of alignment with your own truth. Others sense when a person is grounded in themselves, and that sense of stability is magnetic. The soft life teaches that influence does not always come from striving or proving. It often comes from simply being fully present and fully at peace. The ripple effect of inner peace extends far beyond your immediate sphere. When you operate from calmness, those around you begin to mirror that energy. Tension softens, conflicts are approached with patience, and communication becomes more genuine. Children, colleagues, friends, and family feel the steadiness you carry, and it encourages them to seek similar calm within themselves. You become a quiet teacher, not through words or instruction, but through presence. In a world that often rewards noise, chaos, and endless proving, this influence is revolutionary. It demonstrates that power and impact are not always loud or visible. They can be soft, steady, and profoundly transformative. Radiating peace also allows you to engage with the world more deeply. When your energy is no longer consumed by comparison, worry, or the need to justify yourself, you have space to truly connect, to listen, and to understand. Your empathy deepens, your insight sharpens, and your capacity to love grows. People are drawn to your authenticity because it is rare and refreshing. They sense that you are not seeking to dominate, to control, or to impress. You simply exist fully in your truth, and that existence is a gift to others. The soft life, grounded in inner peace, demonstrates that influence is not about how loudly you proclaim your worth, but about how firmly and gently you hold it within yourself. Cultivating this energy requires consistent practice and intentionality. It is not always easy, for the world often tests our resolve, challenges our boundaries, and invites us back into the cycle of proving and comparing. But each time you choose peace over proving yourself, you strengthen the core of who you are. You build resilience that cannot be shaken by criticism, setbacks, or the demands of others. Your calm becomes a foundation, not only for your own life, but for the lives of those who encounter you. In this way, the soft life is both protective and expansive. It safeguards your energy while allowing your influence to spread effortlessly. The most profound part of radiating inner peace is that it is self-reinforcing. The more you nurture it, the more it grows. The more you honor your boundaries, release the need for external validation, and prioritize calm, the more your energy naturally aligns with serenity and authenticity. Others will feel it, and they will respond, not because you asked them to, but because peace is contagious. Your presence becomes a silent teacher, a reminder that life does not always have to be a battle for recognition, that worth is inherent, and that choosing peace over proving oneself is one of the most courageous and impactful acts a person can make. So carry your calm with intention, nurture your inner peace with care, and allow it to flow outward naturally. In choosing peace over proving yourself, you become a quiet force of influence, a living testament to the strength and beauty of the soft life. There is a quiet revolution in choosing the soft life, a radical decision to honor yourself without apology and to live fully without proving your worth to anyone. In a world that celebrates struggle, competition, and constant demonstration of value, choosing gentleness and peace can feel daring. Yet it is precisely in this choice that true courage is found. The soft life is not about passivity or avoidance. It is an intentional way of living rooted in self-awareness, self-respect, and the understanding that your energy and your peace are precious. It is a decision to nurture your inner world, even when the outer world demands more, to stand firm in your truth, even when it challenges societal expectations, and to embrace life with authenticity rather than pretense. To live the soft life is to recognize that proving yourself endlessly is a form of depletion. It is to understand that the relentless pursuit of validation often leaves the soul empty and the heart weary. Every act of striving to meet someone else's measure of worth takes energy away from your own growth, your own peace, and your own joy. By stepping away from this cycle, you allow yourself to reclaim what has been scattered, to restore what has been worn thin, and to align fully with your own truth. Choosing peace over proving yourself is not an act of surrender, it is an act of empowerment. It is a conscious declaration that your life matters, your time matters, and your spirit matters. The soft life teaches that strength is not measured by how loudly you assert your value, but by how steadily you honor your own needs. It asks you to cultivate boundaries, to nurture rest, and to prioritize self-care. Each of these choices reinforces a life that is intentional rather than reactive, deliberate rather than compelled by external pressures. The courage to say no, the humility to step back, and the wisdom to choose calm over chaos are not signs of weakness. They are markers of profound strength. They demonstrate an understanding that you are enough as you are, that your worth does not depend on constant proving, and that peace is a more powerful currency than approval. Choosing the soft life also transforms the way you relate to others. When you are not consumed by the need to prove yourself, you engage with the world more authentically. Your relationships are deeper, more honest, and more meaningful because you show up from a place of alignment rather than performance. People sense the difference. They feel the steadiness of your presence, the warmth of your authenticity, and the freedom of your energy. You no longer give to impress or to gain validation. You give because it aligns with your values and your heart. In doing so, you create a ripple effect, inspiring others to consider gentleness, authenticity, and peace as viable and even courageous ways of being. The soft life is not about escaping challenges. It is about facing them with clarity, resilience, and grace. When your energy is protected and your mind is calm, you are better equipped to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. You approach difficulties with wisdom rather than fear, with intention rather than pressure. You cultivate patience, understanding, and empathy, not at the expense of your own well-being, but alongside it. This approach allows for solutions that are sustainable, decisions that are grounded, and actions that honor both yourself and the world around you. Choosing peace over proving yourself strengthens not only your inner life, but the impact you have outwardly. There is also freedom in the soft life, a liberation from the unending need for recognition, comparison, and validation. This freedom allows you to explore your passions, your creativity, and your purpose without the weight of judgment or expectation. You become attuned to what truly matters to you, rather than what others think should matter. You learn to celebrate your own victories, small and large, and to trust that your journey is enough. In this way, the soft life is not indulgent, it is sacred. It nurtures your ability to live fully and authentically, offering a template for a life of peace that does not require the exhaustion of proving yourself. The soft life is a choice, a practice, and a declaration. It asks you to step off the treadmill of constant proving, to prioritize peace, and to honor your own worth with intention and courage. It is the quiet revolution that redefines strength, success, and influence. By embracing this life, you cultivate a resilience that is gentle but unshakable, a presence that is soft but profoundly impactful, and a soul that is calm yet unstoppable. So choose the soft life unapologetically. Stand firmly in your peace, nurture your spirit, and let your existence be a testament to the courage of living fully without the need to prove yourself. As we come to the close of this journey together, remember that the choice to embrace the soft life is not a retreat from the world, but a courageous step toward honoring your own heart. Choosing peace over proving yourself is a declaration of your worth, a recognition that your mind, body, and soul deserve care, and a commitment to live authentically, gently, and intentionally. Each act of setting boundaries, letting go of comparison, prioritizing rest, and nurturing your inner peace strengthens you and ripples outward, inspiring others without a word. The soft life is not selfish. It is sacred, it is powerful, and it is transformative. Carry this understanding with you, allow it to guide your choices, and let it remind you that your value has never been determined by the applause of others. Stand firmly in your peace, honor your journey, and allow your calm and authenticity to light the way for those around you. You have within you the courage to live fully, freely, and unapologetically. Good luck as you step into this life of intentional peace and quiet strength. Thank you for taking the time to embrace these words, to reflect, and to honor the soft, courageous life that is yours to live. Hello, everyone. There comes a time when the noise of the world must fall away like autumn leaves, and a stillness must rise from within us. It is in that stillness that the true nature of strength is revealed. Not the strength that demands applause or wears a loud crown, but the quiet, steady strength that knows sorrow, yet does not break, that meets hardship, yet does not bow. The stoic mind is not without feeling, but it is rich with wisdom. It does not run from pain nor chase fleeting joy. Instead, it stands with the patience of mountains and the certainty of rivers flowing to the sea. In a world that trembles in fear and dances in distraction, the Stoic spirit walks with purpose, with humility, and with a fire that does not consume but lights the way. Today, we gather to remember that such power is not rare. It is already alive in each of us, waiting to be called by its rightful name. My dear listeners, there is a truth as old as time itself. Hardship is not your enemy. It is not the thief lurking in the dark to steal your joy or crush your dreams. Hardship is the sculptor with strong, careful hands, shaping you into the masterpiece you are always meant to become. It tests the edges of your spirit and smooths the rough places of your heart. It does not come to destroy, but to reveal the courage already living inside you. Trust that every blow against the stone of your life is a stroke of love that calls forth your strength. When the winds howl and the rains fall without mercy, it is easy to believe you have been forgotten. But my dear ones, you must remember that diamonds are made beneath mountains of pressure, and gold is purified through relentless fire. No soul grows strong without struggle. No spirit shines without having walked through darkness. Every tear you shed waters the seeds of resilience within you. Every stumble you endure builds the ground where your greatness will one day stand tall and unshakable. It is tempting to resent the trials, to curse the weight you are asked to carry. But resentment is a heavy chain, and it will keep you from walking free. Instead, bless the road, bless the thorns, bless the hard days that ask you to dig deeper than you thought you could. You are not being punished, you are being prepared. Your character is being shaped with hands wiser than your own. There is beauty even in the breaking when you understand that you are not being broken apart but broken open. Hold your head high when the night is long and the burdens grow heavier. Speak to yourself with the gentleness you would offer a weary friend. Tell yourself that you are learning, you are growing, you are becoming. Strength is not the absence of pain, but the refusal to surrender your spirit to despair. Let the challenges come. Let them beat against your door. You will meet them with open arms and a heart that says, teach me, mold me, I am ready. The world will try to tell you that you must avoid discomfort at all costs. It will whisper that hardship is unfair, that ease is the reward for the worthy. But the Stoic mind knows better. The Stoic heart understands that real power is not handed out like favors. It is earned in the quiet battles, in the moments no one else sees, when you choose to stand firm instead of running away. Trust the process that feels like breaking, because it is in truth the making of you. And so I say to you now, walk through your trials with grace. Embrace every hardship as an invitation to step closer to the person you were always meant to be. Know that no struggle is wasted. No pain is pointless. You are being chiseled into something rare and magnificent. The world does not need more people who have never suffered. It needs more souls who have suffered and yet still choose to love, to hope, and to rise. Carry this truth with you like a banner across your spirit, and let no hardship ever cause you to forget who you are. My dear listeners, understand this with all the tenderness and all the fire your heart can hold. Emotions will rise like great waves within you, and they will crash against the shores of your mind. Some will roar with anger, others will whisper with sadness, some will sing with fleeting happiness. They will come, they will go, they will leave their footprints across your spirit, but they are not the masters of your house. You must be the keeper of your soul and the guardian of your peace. There is no shame in feeling deeply. There is no weakness in crying when the world feels too heavy, or laughing when the light breaks through the clouds. But my dear ones, never surrender the keys of your mind to emotions that were meant to pass through and not to stay. Let joy visit and dance. Let sorrow sit for a moment. Let anger knock and speak its truth. But when they leave, you must remain rooted, still, and strong in who you are. If you allow every passing feeling to build a throne in your mind, you will be ruled by chaos. You will be tossed about like a ship without anchor. The Stoic heart knows that emotions are valuable messengers but dangerous masters. Feel them, respect them, listen to their stories, but do not hand them your voice. Do not let them write the ending of your tale. Stand firm and know that you are greater than any momentary storm. There will be days when grief will sit so heavy on your chest you will wonder if you can take another breath. There will be hours when rage will thunder through your veins and demand that you strike back. There will be nights when loneliness will creep in like a shadow and whisper lies into your ears. In these moments, my dear listeners, you must remember that emotions are weather. They are not the sky. You are the sky. You are the vastness that holds it all and yet remains unchanged. Train your mind to be a refuge, not a battlefield. When sorrow knocks, welcome it with kindness, but do not feed it until it owns you. When anger flares, acknowledge its fire, but do not let it burn the bridges you have built with love. When fear trembles within you, listen to its warning, but do not let it chain your feet. Hold your ground with grace. Walk through every emotion with the dignity of a soul that knows its true home is in peace. And so I say to you, guard the temple of your mind. Tend to it like a sacred garden. Let no passing storm uproot the seeds of wisdom you have planted. Let no fleeting sorrow tear down the walls of your courage. Emotions will come, emotions will go, but the mind that stands watchful and the spirit that remains faithful will endure and flourish long after the storm has passed. My dear listeners, hear me well. Freedom does not live in doing whatever you please whenever you please. Freedom is born from discipline, from choosing again and again the path that serves your highest good, even when it is the harder road. Joy is not found in chasing every passing whim. Joy is found in the deep well of acceptance, in knowing that there are things you cannot control and yet still you rise. A disciplined mind and a surrendered heart are the twin wings that will lift you above every storm. Choose them both, and you will know a freedom no chain can ever touch. There is a kind of joy that sparkles for a moment and then fades like smoke. But there is another joy, a richer joy, that grows deep roots and does not wither when the sun hides its face. That joy is planted when you stop fighting what you cannot change. It blossoms when you stop shouting at the rain and learn instead to dance beneath it. Acceptance is not weakness, it is strength wrapped in grace. It is the quiet power that says, I will bend, but I will not break. Many people believe discipline is a prison. They think it binds the spirit and suffocates the soul. But my dear ones, discipline is the friend that walks you safely through the wilderness. It is the hand that steadies you when temptation calls your name in sweet and dangerous tones. Discipline is the anchor that holds you steady in the roaring seas of life. And it gives you the structure you need to build a life of meaning. It is not your jailer, it is your liberator. When you let go of the need to control what is not yours to command, a new kind of peace will rise within you. You will stop measuring your worth by the storms that pass your way. You will stop cursing the winds and start setting your sails. You will stop demanding that life be easy and start choosing to be strong. You will laugh louder, you will breathe deeper, you will walk lighter because you are no longer fighting battles that were never yours to win. My dear listeners, you are not called to carry every burden nor to fix every broken thing. You are called to do your best with what is in your hands and to let go of the rest. You are called to stand tall when the winds blow fierce and to rest easy when the work is done. True strength is not found in the clenching of your fists, but in the opening of your heart to whatever the day may bring. Joy and freedom are not found in the absence of hardship, but in the mastery of your own response. And so I tell you now, claim your freedom through discipline and find your joy through acceptance. Hold yourself steady like a tree rooted deep in the earth. Bend with the winds, but do not fall. In the rain, blossom in the storm. When you live this way, no sorrow can steal your laughter and no hardship can take away your peace. You will have built your house on a foundation that no flood can ever wash away. My dear listeners, there will come a time when anger will rise up in you like a fire seeking to consume everything in its path. It will demand that you speak quickly, act recklessly, and tear down what you have taken years to build. But I urge you, do not be a servant to anger. Do not let it seize the reins of your voice or the pen of your story. Instead, reach deeper. Speak from the place where truth lives long after the flames of rage have burned out. Speak from the well of wisdom that knows when to fight and when to stand still. Anger is a visitor, sometimes necessary, but it must never be allowed to rule. It can alert you to injustice, it can stir you from apathy, but if you let it build a home in your heart, it will poison the waters of your peace. My dear ones, words spoken in anger have long shadows. Actions taken in anger can leave wounds that no apology can ever fully heal. Choose to be slow to speak and even slower to strike. Let your truth rise from a place of calm understanding and enduring strength. There is no honor in shouting louder than others. There is no glory in striking first and thinking later. True power is found in the one who can stand in the midst of chaos and still choose the language of dignity. True courage is shown by the one who can burn with righteous fury and still act with grace. Let your anger be like a spark that lights a candle, not a wildfire that leaves only ashes behind. Let your truth be a balm that heals, not a sword that destroys. The Stoic mind does not deny anger, but transforms it. It gathers the heat of fury and channels it into building, not breaking. It takes the sharpness of hurt and hones it into clarity and purpose. My dear listeners, when you are wronged, do not rush to scream into the storm. Sit with your anger. Listen to what it tells you about what you value and what you must protect. But do not allow it to drive you to forget your highest self. Speak not to wound, but to awaken. You will be tested many times by the ignorance and cruelty of others. You will be tempted to answer hate with hate and cruelty with cruelty. But you must remember that you are not here to mirror the darkness. You are here to shine in spite of it. You are here to be the calm voice that brings stillness to raging waters. You are here to be the steady hand that rebuilds when others tear down. Let your every word be a reflection of the greatness you are growing within you, and so I tell you, speak less from the fire of anger and more from the everlasting well of truth inside you. Let your tongue be a vessel for peace even when your heart trembles with fury. Let your actions be guided by wisdom even when the world seems lost in madness. You are not here to fight every battle. You are here to stand as a living testament to grace, patience, and strength. In choosing this path, you will not only save your soul, but light the way for others to follow. My dear listeners, there is a light that no darkness can put out. It is the light of gratitude carried in a heart that chooses to see beauty even when the days grow heavy. Gratitude is not reserved for when life is easy and sweet. It is most powerful when life is rough and bitter. It is in those dark hours that gratitude becomes a lantern, guiding your feet across rough ground. It shows you the hidden blessings tucked inside the trials. It reminds you that even now, even here, there is something worth cherishing. It is easy to be thankful when the sun shines and the path is clear, but the true measure of your spirit is found when you can lift your eyes and whisper thank you even through the tears. My dear ones, gratitude is not blind to suffering. It does not deny pain. It does not pretend that loss is not real. Gratitude looks pain in the eye and still chooses to believe in goodness. It sees the cracks in the walls and still marvels at the shelter they provide. It finds the smallest flame and guards it against the cold. When sorrow visits and sits at your table, do not turn it away empty. Offer it a seat. Pour it a cup of understanding. Then lift your own cup in gratitude for the strength you are building in the presence of sorrow. Every hurt is carving space inside you for more compassion. Every loss is teaching you to hold the things you love with greater tenderness. Gratitude transforms every trial from an enemy into a teacher. It turns mourning into meaning and despair into deeper love. There will be days when you must search long and hard for something to be grateful for. Some days will not offer you grand victories or bright moments. But if you can find even one small thing, one breath of kindness, one glance of hope, then you have already won. Gratitude is the act of planting seeds in the rain, trusting that flowers will one day bloom. It is the faith that says, even when I cannot see the sun, I know it is still shining behind the clouds. My dear listeners, gratitude does not change what happens to you, but it changes what happens within you. It is the hand that steadies your trembling heart. It is the song that rises from your soul when words fail. When you choose to walk with gratitude, you are carrying a light that not even the fiercest night can extinguish. And by your light, others will find their way too. You will be a living reminder that joy is not the absence of hardship, but the presence of grace. And so I say to you now, carry gratitude like a lantern through every dark hour. Lift it high above your head. Let it shine on the blessings hidden in the broken places. Let it light your steps when the road grows narrow. In choosing gratitude, you are choosing life in its fullest, deepest form. My dear listeners, there is a truth so simple and so mighty that many spend their whole lives chasing it and still miss it. True power is not found in the conquering of mountains or the gathering of crowns. It is not in the applause of crowds or the trembling of others before your name. True power is found in the quiet mastery of your own spirit. It is found when you rule your own mind, command your own tongue, and guide your own heart with tenderness and discipline. The world outside may rage and spin, but the soul that has mastered itself stands unshaken. Many seek to rule over others because they have not yet learned to rule over themselves. They build high towers of pride and call them strength. They shout commands into the wind and call it leadership. But my dear ones, no amount of conquest in the world will fill the hollow ache of a spirit left untended. No throne can make up for a heart that has not learned humility. No riches can silence the unrest of a mind at war with itself. Power without self-mastery is a heavy chain, not a crown. You must look inward before you ever look outward. You must tame the fears that rattle inside you. You must soften the anger that seeks to harden your heart. You must rise above the pettiness that would keep you small when you were born to be vast. The Stoic spirit knows that the real victories are not won in public arenas, but in the silent moments when you choose patience over rage, kindness over cruelty, faith over despair. Master yourself, and the world will lose its hold over you. It takes great courage to sit with your own flaws and call them by their true names. It takes even greater courage to begin the slow, patient work of changing them. Many will choose to flee from this labor, seeking distraction and false comfort. But those who dare to stay, who dare to wrestle with their own shadows and bring them into the light, they will know a freedom that cannot be bought and cannot be stolen. To master yourself is to walk in a strength that shines from the inside out. My dear listeners, remember this as you move forward. You are not here to dominate others. You are here to build bridges within yourself where others dig trenches of self-doubt. The work of self-mastery is never finished, but every step forward fills your spirit with more peace, more resilience, more unshakable joy. You become not just a light for yourself, but a beacon for all who cross your path. And so I leave you with this truth. Seek not to conquer the world, but to conquer your own fears, your own weaknesses, your own restless desires. Stand tall in the face of your own storms. Speak gently to the trembling places within you. Choose discipline over chaos, peace over turmoil, truth over fleeting power. In doing so, you will find a power that no force on earth can take from you and a freedom that will light your way through every darkness. My dear listeners, as you walk forward from this moment, carry with you the strength of a mind that is steady, the warmth of a heart that remains open, and the courage of a spirit that will not bow to passing storms. Remember that the Stoic path is not cold nor distant. It is alive with wisdom, vibrant with peace, and rich with the quiet joy of knowing yourself. Every challenge you meet is another chance to rise higher. Every sorrow you endure is another stone laid on the path toward your greatness. May you greet each day with grace and meet each night with gratitude. May your mind remain calm in the face of chaos and your soul steadfast in the face of fear. You have within you the power to shape your own destiny with patience, with dignity, and with unwavering truth. Trust the journey even when the road is rough. Trust yourself even when the world grows loud and uncertain. And know that every small victory in mastering yourself is a mighty step toward living a life of true freedom. Good luck to you, brave hearts. Walk tall, speak true, love deep, and never forget the light that lives within you. Thank you for letting me walk a few steps of this journey with you today. May the road ahead be blessed with peace, purpose, and joy. Ladies and gentlemen, there was a time when I stood at the edge of my own courage, looking down, afraid to jump. My knees knocked like old church bells, my hands trembled like leaves in the wind, and my voice hid itself deep in the well of my doubt. But I tell you now, confidence is not something you are born with. It is something you build, brick by brick, step by step, day by day. You do not wake up one morning and find it signed aside waiting to dress you in power and grace. No, my dear, you mold it, you shape it. You stretch it over your bones and let it settle in your soul. There will be those who will try to shake it loose. They will say you are not enough. They will whisper you do not belong. They will try to tie your hands with fear and steal your voice with doubt. But listen to me, child, don't you let them. There was a time when I thought confidence was a gift given to the lucky ones, the chosen ones, the ones who walked into a room like the air itself had parted for them, like they belonged before they even spoke a word. I used to believe they were simply born that way, fearless, sure, steady, but I have lived long enough to know that confidence is not handed down like an heirloom. It is built brick by brick with steady hands and an unshakable will. Nobody wakes up one morning wrapped in self-assurance like a silk robe. Nobody is born immune to doubt. No, confidence is something you craft with time, with patience, with every step you take despite the trembling in your bones. It is a skill like any other, a skill that must be learned, practiced, sharpened. And let me tell you something, building confidence is not about waiting until you feel ready. It is not about waiting for the fear to vanish, for the doubt to disappear. If you wait for that day, you will wait forever. Because confidence is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to keep going even when fear stands in your way. It is saying, I may not know everything, but I know enough to take this step. It is whispering yourself, I have earned my place, even when the world tries to convince you otherwise. You see, confidence grows in the doing. It does not sprout from silence or hesitation. It does not thrive in the shadows of self-doubt. It grows every time you choose to stand up, every time every time you decide that your day deserves to be heard. You do not wait for confidence to find you. You step forward and confidence follows. Now there will be days when you falter, days when doubt creeps in, whispering its old tired lies. You are not good enough. You are not smart enough. You are not ready. But hear me, doubt is nothing but a thief, a trickster, a shadow that disappears the moment you step into your own light. And when that doubt comes knocking, you do not let it in. You do not feed it. Do not entertain it. Do not let it settle in your soul. Instead, you remind yourself of what you have already overcome, the storms you have weathered, the mountains you have climbed, the nights you thought you wouldn't make it through, and yet here you are, still standing, still rising. And let me say this, confidence is not loud, it's not arrogance. It does not demand attention or beg for approval. True confidence is quiet, steady, rooted. It is knowing your worth without needing the world to confirm it for you. It is walking into a room and not shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. It is speaking your truth with grace, even when your voice shakes. It is standing firm in who you are, even when the world tries to tell you otherwise. But oh, my dear, confidence takes practice. It takes showing up for yourself again and again. It takes refusing to let failure define you. It takes looking at your reflection and deciding, I am enough, because you are, even when you stumble, even when you doubt, even when the road feels long and uncertain. So go on. Step forward. Build your confidence like a house made of stone strong, unshaken, unbreakable. And when the world tries to tell you that you do not belong, smile and say, watch me. There is something you must understand about fear. It does not come to destroy you, but it will try. It will creep in when you are standing on the edge of something new, something great, something that calls your name in ways you never imagined. It will sit beside you when you dare to dream too big, whispering all the reasons why you should stay small, stay safe, stay silent. But fear is not a master, it is only a visitor, and self-belief. Self-belief must be your permanent home. Now, let me tell you something about visitors. They come, they go, and they only stay as long as you let them. Fear will knock, and if you are not careful, it will make itself comfortable in the spaces where your courage should live. It will plant seeds of doubt, water them with hesitation, and before you know it, you will find yourself trapped in a house built from your own uncertainty. But you must remember you are the landlord of your mind, the gatekeeper of your spirit. Fear does not pay rent here. You do not owe it space. Fear is loud, but self-belief is stronger. Self-belief is not boastful. It does not need to announce itself to the world. It is steady, grounded, unshaken. It stands tall even when fear comes knocking. It whispers, I belong, even when doubt tries to drown it out. And the most beautiful thing? The more you choose self-belief, the quieter fear becomes. But do not mistake self-belief for the absence of fear. No, my dear, even the strongest among us have known fear. Even the most confident have felt it sitting heavy on their chest, making their hands tremble and their voices shake. The difference is they did not let fear make the decisions. They did not let fear take the driver's seat. They did not let fear define their story, because the truth is you can feel fear and still move forward. You can hear its voice and still choose your own. You can acknowledge its presence and still refuse to be ruled by it. There will be moments when you stand at the doorway of opportunity, your heart pounding, your breath uneven, your mind racing with all the ways you could fail. And in those moments, you must ask yourself, what if I succeed? What if this is the moment I prove to myself that I am more capable than I ever believed? What if this is the day I step into the fullness of my power? Because, my dear, fear will always show you the worst case scenario, but self-belief. Self-belief reminds you that you are built for more. You must choose to believe in yourself, not just when the road is smooth, but especially when it is rough. You must trust your own strength, not just when the world claps for you, but especially when it is silent. You must stand firm in who you are, not just when you feel ready, but especially when you do not. Because readiness is a myth. No one is ever truly ready. They simply decide that their belief in themselves is stronger than their fear of failing. And if you fall, if you fall, you rise. You gather yourself, dust off your doubt, and stand tall again. Because failure is not final, and fear is not the end of your story. Self-belief is the foundation, the rock, the home where your confidence will thrive. And when fear comes again, you will smile, shake your head, and say, not today. There will come a moment when your voice feels like a stranger in your own mouth. When the words sit heavy on your tongue, uncertain, afraid. When you have something to say, something worth saying, but fear wraps its fingers around your throat and squeezes until silence feels safer. I know that moment. I have lived in that moment. But I am here to tell you, speak anyway. Even if your voice trembles, even if your words shake like leaves in the wind, speak. Because your voice has power, and the world needs to hear it. Too many people go through life swallowing their words, tucking away their thoughts, making themselves small so they do not disturb the air around them. They believe they must wait until they are sure, until they are strong, until they are fearless before they can speak their truth. But let me tell you, certainty is a privilege not granted to the courageous. Courage is speaking before you feel ready. Confidence is using your voice even when fear stands beside you. And I know there will always be those who tell you to be quiet, to lower your voice, to sit down when you were meant to stand tall. There will be moments when you wonder if your words even matter, if anyone is listening, if you are speaking into the void. But hear me, your voice does not need permission to exist. Your words do not need approval to have value. Whether one person listens or 1,000, whether the world embraces your message or rejects it, your truth remains. Your voice remains. It is not about speaking the loudest. It is not about demanding attention. True power is not found in noise, but in conviction. It is found in the quiet confidence of knowing that what you have to say is worth saying. It is found in the courage to share your story, your ideas, your perspective, even when doubt tells you to stay silent. But using your voice is not just about speaking up for yourself, it is about speaking up for those who cannot. It is about using your words to uplift, to empower, to inspire. Your voice can be a bridge, a light, a force for something greater than yourself. But only if you choose to use it. Only if you choose to believe in its power, even when it shakes. So let it shake. Let it tremble. Let it carry the weight of your truth, even if your hands tremble with it. Because a voice that quivers with courage is still a voice that matters. And one day, when you have spoken enough, when you have dared enough, when you have stood firm in your truth enough times, you will find that your voice no longer shakes at all. You will find that it stands strong, steady, unwavering, and you will wonder why you ever doubted its power in the first place. So speak. Speak your truth, your story, your dreams. Speak even when your voice trembles, because one day it won't. Doubt is a quiet thief. It does not announce itself with a crash or a bang. It slips in through the cracks, settles into the corners of your mind, and makes itself at home. It whispers in a voice that sounds like your own, telling you that you are not enough, not ready, not worthy. And if you are not careful, if you do not guard the door to your own belief, doubt will make a home inside you. It will steal your courage, your dreams, your voice. But hear me now, you do not owe doubt a place in your life. It may not, but never hand it the keys to your destiny. There will be moments when it feels like doubt is the loudest thing in the room. When every step forward feels like a mistake, when every word you speak feels uncertain, when every decision is haunted by the question, what if I'm wrong? And I will not tell you that you will never feel that way again. Doubt is persistent. It is stubborn. It will return again and again, dressed in different clothes, disguised as reason, as logic, as protection. But you must recognize it for what it is, a test, a choice, a moment where you decide whether to listen or to rise. And I know it is easier to listen, easier to believe the voice that tells you to wait, to shrink, to step back. Because doubt is convincing. It knows your insecurities, your fears, the wounds you have yet to heal. It will use them against you if you let it. But you are not obligated to accept every thought that enters your mind. You are not required to believe every fear that comes knocking. You have the power to question doubt the same way it questions you. What if you are not enough? But what if you are? What if you fail? But what if you don't? What if they laugh? What if they judge? What if you fall flat on your face? But my dear, what if you soar? Because here is the truth, doubt does not know your strength. Doubt has never seen what you are truly capable of. It only knows the limits you have accepted, the barriers you have yet to break. It does not know the power that lies in your persistence, in your resilience, in the moments when you rise despite every reason to stay down. And oh, how powerful you are when you refuse to let doubt win. How unstoppable you become when you recognize that hesitation is not proof of your inadequacy, but an invitation to trust yourself more deeply. Because you, my dear, are worthy not when you are perfect, not when you have all the answers, not when the world finally sees your value, but right now as you are in this moment. So the next time doubt comes knocking, do not invite it in. Do not set the table for it. Do not offer it a chair. Let it stand outside in the cold while you step boldly into your destiny. Let it watch as you move forward, as you speak up, as you claim your space. And when it tries again, you simply smile and say, not today. There will be times when you walk into a room and feel the weight of 1,000 eyes measuring you, sizing you up, trying to decide if you belong. There will be moments when the world seems to whisper, not yet, not here, not you. And you will be tempted to shrink, to step back, to make yourself small enough to fit inside the narrow space they have left for you. But listen to me, walk like you belong, even before the world believes you do. Confidence is not about waiting for permission. It is not about waiting for the right moment, the perfect opportunity, the applause of the crowd. Confidence is stepping forward before the world is ready, before the path is clear, before you have every answer. It is standing tall even when doubt sits heavy on your shoulders. It is walking into every space as if your name is already written on the walls. But I know it is not easy. It is not easy to walk into unfamiliar places, to stand in rooms where you feel like an outsider, to speak when your voice feels too soft, too unsure, too out of place. It is not easy to claim space in a world that sometimes seems determined to overlook you. But hear me now, you are not an outsider to your own life. You are not a guest in your own story. You do not need to wait for an invitation to take up space in the world. You are already worthy of being here. You may be tempted to hesitate, to hold back, to wait for the world to confirm what you already know deep inside, that you are strong enough, capable enough, deserving enough. But let me tell you something, the world will not always hand you validation. The world will not always open its arms and welcome you in. Sometimes you must walk in anyway. Sometimes you must decide that you belong even when no one says it out loud. Because belonging is not about who lets you in, it is about how you carry yourself. It is about knowing that your dreams are just important, your voice just as valuable, your presence just as necessary as anyone else's. It is about refusing to let uncertainty steal your seat at the table. And if they do not make space for you, if they question your right to be there, you do not ask for permission to exist. You do not apologize for showing up. You do not shrink yourself to make others comfortable. No, my dear, you straighten your spine, you lift your chin, and you walk like you belong because you do. The truth is, people will believe in you when they see you believe in yourself. They will respect you when they see that you respect yourself. They will make room for you when they realize you will not disappear simply because they doubt you. So stand firm, speak with purpose, move through the world as if you have every right to be here because you do. And when the day comes that someone else is standing where you once stood, feeling small, feeling unsure, wondering if they belong, show them. Show them with your presence, your courage, your certainty. Show them that they too have the right to take up space. And together you will walk forward, not waiting for permission, but claiming the ground beneath your feet. Failure has a way of making itself feel final. It arrives like a storm, unexpected and unforgiving, washing away every bit of confidence you had built. It whispers that you were foolish to try, that you should have known better, that you were never meant to succeed in the first place. And for a moment, maybe even longer, you believe it. You sit with the weight of disappointment, the sting of mistakes, the fear that maybe this is where your journey ends. But listen to me now, failure is not the enemy. Staying down is. Because failure will happen. Oh, it will come knocking again, testing your will, pushing against your spirit, waiting to see if you will let it define you. It is not a question of if you will fail, but when. And when you do, what will you do next? Will you let the weight of it bury you? Will you let the embarrassment of falling keep you from ever rising again? Or will you stand? Will you shake the dust from your hands, lift your chin, and decide that this failure, this one right here, is not the end of your story? Because that is the choice. That is always the choice, to stay down or to rise. And my dear, you must rise, not because it is easy, not because you do not feel the sting of falling, but because every time you stand again, you prove to yourself that failure does not own you. You prove that your strength is not measured by how often you win, but by how often you refuse to quit. And let me tell you something, those who succeed are not the ones who never failed. They are the ones who failed and kept going. The ones who took the lessons, the pain, the disappointment, and turned them into stepping stones instead of walls. The ones who understood that every failure is just another step towards success, another chapter in the story, another test of resilience. So do not fear failure. Do not let it convince you that you are unworthy, that you are not good enough, that your dreams are too big. Instead, let it teach you. Let it remind you that you are still here, still fighting, still becoming. And the next time you fall, and you will remember this, the only true failure is staying down. So rise and rise again. There will be days when the world feels too heavy, when the voices of doubt and fear grow louder than your own. Days when the road ahead looks too long, too uncertain, too full of obstacles you are not sure you can overcome. And in those moments, you will be tempted to turn back, to abandon the dreams that once set your soul on fire, to settle for something smaller, something safer, something that does not ask so much of you. But listen to me, keep going, because the road to greatness is never easy. It will test you. It will demand more than you think you have. It will ask for your patience, your persistence, your willingness to keep moving forward, even when progress feels invisible. But you must not stop. You must not let the difficulty of the journey convince you that the destination is not worth it. You see, every step you take, no matter how small, is a step forward. Every moment you choose to push through the doubt, to rise after failure, to trust yourself even when no one else does, those moments matter. They build you. They prepare you. They shape you into the person who is ready for the success that is waiting for you. But it is easy to forget that when the struggle is all you can see, it is easy to believe that progress should always feel obvious, that growth should always be visible. But growth is often silent. Change happens in the moments when you do not even realize it. Strength is built in the days when you want to quit but don't. And I know it is hard. It is hard to keep moving when the weight of uncertainty sits heavy on your shoulders. It is hard to believe in yourself when the results have not yet arrived. But this is exactly where most people stop. This is the moment when most give up. And this is why you must keep going. Because the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not talent, not luck, not even opportunity, it is perseverance. It is the willingness to keep moving when everything inside you wants to stop. And when you finally reach that moment, the moment when everything you have worked for becomes real, when the doors you once thought were closed swing open, when you realize that every struggle, every setback, every doubt was worth it, you will be grateful you did not give up. You will stand in the place you once only dreamed of and know that you are there because you refused to quit. So do not stop. Not today. Not tomorrow, not ever. Keep going, even when it is hard, even at fault, even when you are the only one who believes in the journey. Keep going because you are closer than you think. And so here we are, at the edge of every doubt you have ever had, at the crossroads between fear and courage, hesitation and action, silence and strength. You have walked through the weight of uncertainty, stood in the face of failure, and dared to believe in yourself even when the world told you otherwise. And now, the choice is yours. Will you stand tall in your confidence? Will you walk like you belong, even before the world believes you do? Will you speak your truth, rise after every fall, and keep going no matter how long the road ahead may seem? Because that is where greatness is found, not in perfection, not in ease, but in the relentless refusal to give up. So go forward with your head high, your spirit steady, and your self-belief unshaken. Walk boldly into every room, knowing that you are worthy. Speak with conviction, knowing that your voice matters. And when fear comes knocking, smile and say, not today. Good luck on your journey. May you rise again and again. And may the world see the brilliance that has always been inside you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. There is a quiet strength in a calm woman that moves like the steady river. It does not rush. It does not demand. It carries the world with a grace that many cannot name, but all can feel. When a calm woman enters a room, there is no thunder in her voice, no storm in her eyes, yet everyone knows that something powerful has arrived. That is the power of inner peace. That is the shield no sword can break. A calm woman is not untouched by trials. She has known heartbreak. She has stood in the middle of loss. She has tasted disappointment. Yet she has learned not to let those moments chain her spirit. She has found a song inside her chest that the world cannot silence. While others fight to prove their worth, she has nothing to prove. She already knows who she is. She already knows her value. Her calm is not weakness. Her calm is mastery. Calmness is not weakness, it is the highest form of strength. This truth has been misunderstood for centuries because the world often celebrates the loud, the forceful, and the aggressive. But if you look closely, you will see that true strength has never been about noise or force. It has always been about control, about knowing when to act and when to wait, about understanding that power without restraint can destroy more than it creates. The calm woman knows this well. She does not need to raise her voice to prove her authority. She does not need to fight every battle to prove she can win. She holds her ground with quiet certainty, and that is what makes her unshakable. When life sends waves of trials and disappointments, the calm woman does not let herself be thrown into panic. She may bend with the wind, but she does not break. She has learned that calmness is not the absence of difficulty, but the decision to face difficulty with clarity and grace. Anyone can be strong when things are easy. Anyone can smile when the world is gentle. But to remain calm when everything shakes, to breathe steady when chaos presses hard, that is where true strength is revealed. It is not the shallow strength of the fist, but the deep strength of the spirit. People often mistake loudness for power, but loudness can be a mask for fear. Anger can be a disguise for insecurity. The woman who is calm does not need masks, for she is not running from herself. She has looked within and made peace with her scars. She has embraced her imperfections and chosen to keep walking with dignity. That is why she does not waste her energy on proving. She saves her strength for building. She saves her voice for truth. She saves her spirit for love. Calmness takes discipline. It requires mastery over the impulses that push so many into regret. It takes courage to pause when provoked, to listen instead of reacting, to choose grace when anger would feel easier. Yet it is in these small choices that a calm woman shows her might. She teaches the world that restraint is not weakness, but wisdom, that patience is not passivity, but power. She reminds us that storms destroy themselves when they cannot disturb the one standing firm. The strength of her calm is seen in how she carries others too. She becomes a safe place for those who are weary. Her presence itself is a comfort because it radiates steadiness. People lean on her not because she speaks the loudest, but because she listens the deepest. Her calm spirit has a way of softening even the hardest hearts. She knows that kindness spoken from peace reaches farther than anger spoken from pride. And that is a strength that outlasts every shout. Think of history of communities, of families. The ones who held them together were not always the boldest or the most aggressive. They were often the ones who kept calm in the storm, who carried peace when everyone else panicked, who turned conflict into healing and bitterness into understanding. The calm woman embodies that same timeless strength. She chooses to carry her peace not only for herself, but for all who walk beside her. The strength of calmness also gives her vision. When noise fills the air, most people cannot think clearly. They rush, they stumble, they regret. But her calm clears the fog. She sees what others miss because she does not let panic blur her sight. She waits until the right moment to move, and when she moves, it is with certainty. That is why her steps are sure and her choices last. In a world that glorifies noise, a calm woman is often underestimated, but she is never defeated. Her shield of peace protects her from the wounds of envy, anger, and chaos. She is not fragile, she is fortified. She is not silent because she is small, she is silent because her spirit is vast. Calmness is her crown, and she wears it with a strength that cannot be stolen. That is why calmness is not weakness. It is the highest form of strength. A calm woman carries peace as her shield against chaos. She does not live in a world free of storms, but she walks with a protection that no turmoil can strip away. Her peace is not something given to her by chance or by comfort. It is something she has earned through her struggles, through her nights of silence, through her moments of standing strong when everything inside her wanted to fall apart. That peace is the armor she wears, not made of steel or iron, but of wisdom, patience, and trust in herself. Life throws its trials at every soul. There are moments when people are misunderstood, moments when dreams fall short, moments when betrayal cuts deep. Many react with rage, with bitterness, with despair. But the calm woman does not hand her heart over to the storm. She keeps her peace close like a sacred shield. She knows that chaos wants to steal her focus, but she will not give it permission. She understands that losing peace is more costly than losing a battle, because when peace is gone, everything else crumbles. Her shield of peace is not about hiding or avoiding conflict. It is about meeting conflict without letting it own her. She may face harsh words, yet she refuses to let them poison her spirit. She may encounter unfairness, yet she refuses to allow bitterness to grow in her soul. She knows that chaos only has power if she invites it in. So she holds her shield steady, letting peace protect her from the arrows of anger, envy, and hatred. This is not weakness. It is mastery. It is the ability to walk through fire and not become fire. People often wonder how she does it. How can she smile when so much is against her? How can she move with such grace when the ground beneath her shakes? The answer is that her shield is not something she carries in her hands. It lives in her heart. Her peace is built from faith in herself, from lessons she has learned through pain, from the courage to release what she cannot control. Because she does not try to control every storm, she saves her strength to control herself. That is her secret, and that is her shield. There are times when the world will push her, provoke her, try to strip her calm away. It will test her patience and tempt her to answer chaos with chaos. But she knows that if she lowers her shield, she is no longer protected. So she breathes, she steadies herself, and she holds her ground. Her peace is not silence in the face of injustice. It is clarity in the midst of confusion. It allows her to act with intention rather than reaction, to choose her response instead of being dragged by emotion. That shield makes her powerful in a way that anger never could. A calm woman with peace as her shield changes the atmosphere around her. She becomes a light in places of darkness, a safe space in moments of fear, a steady hand when others tremble. People gather near her because they feel safer in her presence. She does not need to command attention. Her peace draws it naturally. Her calm energy spreads like a quiet flame, warming the hearts of those who are cold with worry. And though she carries her shield for herself, it becomes a covering for others too. The beauty of her shield is that it is unbreakable by external force. No insult, no rejection, no storm can shatter it because it is built on the foundation of her own soul. She is the one who decides whether to guard it or let it fall. And she chooses to guard it fiercely. She knows her peace is her power. She knows her shield is her survival. She knows that as long as she carries it, no chaos can defeat her spirit. And so a calm woman carries peace as her shield against chaos. And with it, she proves that the greatest victories are not won through noise or force, but through the quiet strength of an unshaken soul. Inner peace is power that cannot be stolen or shaken. The calm woman understands this truth deep in her soul. She has lived through the kind of storms that strip people of their confidence, through the kind of pain that bends others into bitterness, yet she has chosen not to let those moments define her. Instead, she has built within herself a place that no hand can touch, no insult can damage, and no storm can destroy. That place is her inner peace, and it is her greatest source of strength. There are many forms of power in this world. Some try to hold power through wealth, others through influence, others through fear. But those forms of power can be taken away in an instant. Fortune changes, positions shift, fear eventually loses its hold. The power of inner peace, however, is untouchable. It is not built on anything outside of the self. It is not dependent on approval, applause, or recognition. It is not something that can be handed over by another person. It is born within, and because it is within, no one can take it away. The calm woman carries herself with this unshakable power. She does not need to prove herself by competing with others. She does not need to chase validation or scramble for control. Her peace gives her a confidence that radiates quietly, but undeniably. It tells the world that she knows who she is, and she will not be moved by every opinion, by every judgment, by every shifting shadow of doubt. Her power is not loud, but it is lasting. It does not roar, but it remains when the noise fades. Many mistake inner peace for passivity, but the calm woman knows better. She knows that peace is not the absence of conflict, it is the mastery of self within conflict. It is choosing clarity over confusion, choosing patience over panic, choosing grace over anger. When others crumble under pressure, she stands steady. When others are consumed by fear, she breathes deep and holds her ground. This is not because life is easier for her. It is because she has decided that nothing outside of her deserves the right to rule her spirit. That decision is what makes her untouchable. Inner peace also gives her vision. Where others see only obstacles, she sees opportunities. Where others see chaos, she sees lessons. She does not allow her mind to be clouded by worry, so she can think with clarity and act with intention. That is why she is trusted, why others seek her counsel, why her presence is felt even when she says little. Her peace is not only for herself, it becomes a guide for others too. It shows them that there is another way to live, a stronger way to move, a freer way to exist. This kind of power is not inherited, it is earned. It comes from surviving heartbreak without letting it harden her. It comes from walking through disappointment without letting it rob her of hope. It comes from meeting betrayal and choosing forgiveness, not because the other deserved it, but because she deserved to be free. Every scar has taught her something. Every wound has made her wiser. And from all of it, she has built a reservoir of peace that flows within her and sustains her when the world tries to drain her spirit. Her inner peace does not mean she does not feel pain. It does not mean she is untouched by sorrow. It means she has learned how to carry it without letting it break her. She has learned how to bend without falling, how to hurt without losing her softness, how to endure without losing her faith. That balance is her strength, and it is the reason why her power cannot be stolen. So when the storms come, as they always do, she does not fear. She knows storms can shake the earth, but they cannot shake her spirit. She knows life can take much, but it cannot take the peace she has built within. That is why her power is rare, why it is precious, why it lasts. Inner peace is power that cannot be stolen or shaken, and the calm woman wears it like her crown. Silence and patience are not surrender, they are wisdom in motion. The calm woman knows this truth in every step she takes and in every word she chooses not to speak. To the world that moves too fast, silence often looks like weakness. To the world that demands immediate reaction, patience often feels like defeat. But in reality, silence and patience are powerful tools, sharpened not by inaction but by understanding. The calm woman uses them not to avoid the weight of life, but to carry it with grace and to face it with strength. She knows there is wisdom in holding her tongue when anger tempts her to lash out. She knows there is wisdom in waiting when life pushes her to rush blindly forward. Silence is not the absence of voice, it is the presence of control. Patience is not a lack of courage, it is the presence of faith. Together they become her strength, her quiet defense against a world that is always in a hurry to win, to argue, to prove. When people speak out of anger, they often regret what follows. When they rush into action without thought, they often stumble into mistakes. But the calm woman avoids such traps. She understands that silence gives her time to listen, And in listening, she gains clarity. She understands that patience allows her to see what is hidden in the moment, to recognize the truth beneath the surface, to wait for the right opportunity instead of wasting energy on what will not last. This is not surrender. This is wisdom in motion. Her silence is not empty. It carries weight. When she chooses not to speak, it is not because she cannot. It is because she has chosen to protect her peace. Her silence shields her from battles unworthy of her energy. It saves her strength for the moments that truly matter. And when she does speak, her words are sharper, truer, more impactful, because they come from reflection, not from reaction. That is why people listen when she speaks. That is why her voice matters even in its softness. Her patience, too, is misunderstood. People often believe that if you are not moving quickly, you are falling behind. But the calm woman knows that patience is not standing still. It is moving at the pace of wisdom. It is trusting that what is meant for her will not pass her by. It is knowing that rushing can bring ruin, while waiting with faith can bring fulfillment. Her patience does not mean she does nothing. It means she acts when the time is right, and because of that, her actions are strong and steady. Silence and patience allow her to withstand storms without being swept away. They allow her to rise above insults without staining her spirit. They allow her to build her life with intention rather than desperation. And in all of this, she shows a strength that loud voices and restless hearts cannot imitate. She shows that true wisdom does not need to scream. It does not need to hurry. It simply endures, and in enduring, it prevails. Through her silence, she teaches others that not every fight is worth fighting. Through her patience, she teaches that not every desire needs to be chased. She becomes an example of how strength is not always about action, but sometimes about restraint. Her life reminds us that the one who can master their emotions, their impulses, their timing, is stronger than the one who can conquer the world, but not themselves. The calm woman's silence and patience are living proof that strength does not always roar. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it waits. Sometimes it simply refuses to be disturbed. And in that refusal lies her freedom. She is not owned by anger, not controlled by pressure, not enslaved by hurry. She belongs to herself, and that is the truest form of strength. Silence and patience are not surrender. They are wisdom in motion. And in them, the calm woman finds her shield. Serenity allows her to rise above conflict without losing herself. The calm woman knows that the world is filled with noise, with voices that demand to be heard, with arguments that tempt the spirit into battles that do not serve the soul. But she has chosen another path. She has chosen serenity. And with it, she finds the strength to stand tall when conflict surrounds her. She does not need to sink into the bitterness of others to prove her worth. She does not need to match anger with anger to show that she is strong. Her serenity is her proof, her evidence that true power is not found in shouting, but in the ability to remain unshaken. Conflict comes in many forms. It can come from family, from work, from friends, or from strangers who carry their own wounds. It can arrive through words that cut, through actions that betray, through situations that seem unfair. Most people let conflict consume them, stripping them of peace and clarity. But the calm woman has learned that when she lets conflict rule her, she loses herself. So she rises above it, not because she is blind to injustice, but because she values her spirit too deeply to let it be broken by it. Her serenity is not denial. She does not pretend that conflict is not real. She sees it, she feels it, she acknowledges its weight. But she does not allow it to dictate her path. She knows that reacting with anger only feeds the fire, that meeting hostility with hostility only deepens the wound. Her serenity is the choice to respond with understanding instead of rage, with clarity instead of confusion. And that choice gives her strength that conflict cannot touch. When others are pulled into arguments, she listens. When others rush to defend themselves, she breathes. She does not rush to prove her innocence or her superiority because she knows her value does not depend on anyone's opinion. She knows her dignity is not built on winning an argument. Her serenity protects her from wasting her energy on battles that do not deserve her presence. And because she refuses to lose herself in conflict, she keeps her spirit intact. This serenity allows her to create space where healing can happen. In her calm presence, anger loses its fuel. In her patient response, tension begins to fade. People may not understand how she does it, but they feel the effect of her spirit. She becomes a bridge where others see only walls. She becomes a light where others are trapped in shadows. She is not untouched by conflict, but she transforms it by refusing to let it claim her peace. The calm woman's serenity is not a gift that came easily. It has been forged through experiences that tested her. It was built through moments where she wanted to fight back, but chose instead to rise. It was shaped in times when her silence was mistaken for weakness, but later revealed itself as wisdom. Through these lessons, she learned that serenity is not given, it is cultivated. And because she cultivated it, it now protects her as a shield. Conflict may continue to swirl around her, but she does not bow to it. She chooses her battles with care. She understands that her time, her energy, her soul are too precious to waste on proving herself to those who do not wish to understand. She walks forward with grace, letting serenity be her strength, letting peace be her armor. And in doing so, she shows the world that rising above does not mean ignoring conflict. It means mastering yourself in the midst of it. Serenity allows her to rise above conflict without losing herself, and in that choice, she keeps her crown untarnished. True calm is born from trials, pain, and the choice to heal. A calm woman is not calm because life has been gentle with her. She is calm because she has walked through storms that threatened to break her, and she chose not to let them. Her serenity is not the product of an easy path. It is the fruit of struggle, of wounds that once bled deeply, of nights when her soul ached in silence. What makes her calmness powerful is that it has been tested, it has been tried, and it has survived. There was a time when her voice trembled with fear, when her heart was heavy with sorrow, when her spirit was tempted to give in to bitterness. She has known heartbreak that could have hardened her. She has known betrayal that could have made her cynical. She has known loss that could have taken away her hope. Yet she chose something different. She chose to heal instead of hate. She chose to grow instead of collapse. She chose to turn her pain into wisdom and her trials into strength. That is why her calm cannot be shaken, because it has roots deep in her lived experience. The calm woman understands that pain is a teacher, even though its lessons are harsh. It teaches resilience. It teaches patience. It teaches the importance of letting go of what cannot be changed. Trials are the fires that refined her. She did not walk away untouched, but she walked away transformed. Her scars do not weaken her. They remind her of her survival. Her tears do not shame her. They remind her that she felt deeply and still rose again. Out of those trials came a calm that was not naive but seasoned, not fragile but strong. True calm is never about pretending nothing happened. It is about facing what happened and choosing not to let it destroy the soul. The calm woman carries her past, but she does not live in it. She remembers the pain, but she does not let it write her story. She acknowledges the trials, but she does not let them define her. Instead, she allows them to shape her into someone wiser, softer, and stronger. That is the beauty of her calm. It is not born of ignorance, but of deep awareness. Healing was never easy for her. It took courage to forgive when her heart wanted revenge. It took strength to smile when sorrow weighed heavily on her. It took patience to rebuild when everything inside her wanted to give up. But through that process, she found a calmness that now shields her from the chaos of the world. She knows she cannot control what life brings, but she can control how she responds. And that knowledge has given her freedom that cannot be taken away. The calm woman has learned that wounds can either make a person bitter or better, and she has chosen the better path. She does not deny her pain, but she refuses to become it. She does not erase her past, but she refuses to be imprisoned by it. Her calmness carries both her history and her healing, and together they make her strong enough to face whatever comes next. People may look at her serenity and think it came easily, but if they could see the battles she has fought within, they would understand it is the result of victory after victory. This is why her calm is unshakable. It was not borrowed, it was not given, it was built. Every challenge she endured became a brick. Every heartbreak she survived became a stone. Every choice to heal instead of hate became the mortar that held it all together. Her calmness is a fortress, and she stands within it, safe not because the world is kind, but because she has chosen to be kind to herself. True calm is born from trials, pain, and the choice to heal, and that is why it shines so powerfully through the calm woman's life. The calm woman proves that strength wrapped in grace lasts the longest. In a world where so many believe strength must roar, she shows that it can whisper and still be heard. She is not strong because she demands attention, but because she holds her dignity in silence. She does not need to crush others to prove her power. Her strength is quiet, steady, and enduring. It does not fade when the applause ends, nor does it weaken when the world grows weary. Her grace keeps it alive, and that is why it lasts. There are many forms of strength that rise quickly but vanish just as fast. Anger may make a person appear strong, but it burns out. Force may win in the moment, but it often leaves destruction behind. Pride may seem powerful, but it crumbles when challenged. The calm woman's strength is different. It is built on patience, kindness, forgiveness, and wisdom. It does not fade with time because it is not built on show. It is built on truth. That is why it endures through every season of life. Her grace does not mean she is untouched by pain. She feels sorrow, she feels injustice, she feels the weight of struggle. But she carries it without letting it harden her spirit. She answers cruelty with composure. She meets betrayal without letting it destroy her tenderness. She faces conflict without letting it steal her dignity. Her strength is not about avoiding pain. It is about refusing to let pain take away her humanity. That grace is what makes her strong in a way that time cannot erase. The calm woman also knows that strength without grace can become a burden. Harshness may intimidate, but it does not inspire. Aggression may dominate, but it does not heal. True strength uplifts, and hers does exactly that. She brings peace to troubled hearts. She brings clarity where there is confusion. She brings hope where there is despair. She is strong not only for herself, but for others too, because her grace gives her strength a beauty that people can lean on. This kind of strength takes discipline. It is not easy to stay graceful when the world tests her, when insults are thrown, when anger is pushed upon her. But she chooses again and again to hold her ground with calmness. She chooses to breathe instead of break, to forgive instead of hate, to rise instead of sink. These choices shape her strength, polish it, and protect it. And because she chooses them with consistency, her strength outlasts the temporary power of rage or pride. Her strength wrapped in grace is also a legacy. It touches those who walk beside her, teaching them that strength does not have to destroy, it can also heal. Her children, her friends, her community, all are impacted by the calm way she moves through life. They see that she does not fight every battle, but the ones she does fight are with dignity. They see that she does not lose herself in chaos, but instead becomes an anchor when others drift. And they learn from her that the strongest person in the room is often the one who does not need to prove it. This strength lasts because it is rooted in values deeper than circumstance. The calm woman is not strong because life has always been fair to her. She is strong because she has chosen to walk in grace despite life's unfairness. She does not depend on the approval of others, nor on fleeting victories. Her strength flows from her character, and character is something time cannot erase. That is why, when the years pass, her calm presence still holds power. That is why, when storms rage, people still find safety in her. Strength wrapped in grace lasts the longest, and the calm woman is living proof of it. So in the end, the strength of a calm woman is not hidden in noise or in force, but in her quiet endurance, in her steady spirit, in the way she carries peace like a crown and a shield. She reminds us that calmness is not weakness, it is wisdom. She proves that serenity is not surrender, it is mastery. She shows us that strength clothed in grace can outlast storms, heal wounds, and inspire generations. If you walk away with one truth, let it be this: peace within yourself is the greatest power you will ever hold. Guard it, live it, let it guide you, and you too will rise unshaken no matter what the world places before you. Good luck on your journey, and thank you for listening.